Hey, what's going on, sports fans? This is Sean with boxingandbasketball.com, and we're back with my co host, the spectacular Matthew Reyna. What's going on, Matthew?
Feeling a little laid back today. I spent the last couple hours in Austin to San Antonio traffic, but I
Okay.
did it. I did it so I could get here for my favorite part of the week, my favorite part of the later week, Thursday basketball talk. Let's do it.
All right. There you have it. All right. So, first of all, we want to thank everybody, man. We've been getting a lot of comments lately, and we've been asking for that. Don't forget when you leave your comments as well to go ahead and if you got questions or anything you want us to, or any topics you want us to cover, make sure you leave that down below as well. So we appreciate all the feedback. While you're leaving comments, make sure you like, subscribe, and even share our videos to help us get out there even more. Me and Matthew coming at least twice a week to give you these shows. Man, we appreciate it as you hit the like button so we can move up the algorithm. And also we can keep bringing you more and more content every week. All right,
And
Matthew, we're gonna start it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, you had something to
and
say?
be nice if you leave a comment, or else we're gonna track you down.
Uh, hey, look, just by you saying that, they ain't gonna be nice now. All right, here we go. Matthew, topic number one. Jamal Murray went absolutely nuclear last night. 53 points on 9 threes as Denver beat Dallas 142 to 135 for the fourth straight win. That's a fourth career 50-point game, like tying Kiki Vandaway, where people are like, who in the world is that? For the most in Nuggets history, only behind Jokic. Matthew, is Murray finally playing like the guy Denver needs him to be for a playoff run?
Yeah, absolutely. And to match the great Kiki Vanderway, Kiki Vanderway, that's a that's a name I don't quite recall. I think he was a GM after his playing career. I think he was a European shooter. Ooh. But anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
um, putting Mr. Vanderway aside, Murray's been incredible lately. And you look at the 53 points, you look at the two-man he runs with Jokic, you just wonder, can he do it consistently? Can he do it consistently into April? Can he do it consistently into May? Because, of course, the year they won the chip, basically Jamal Murray went nuclear the whole playoffs. And until this season, I think a lot of fans have wondered, where is that playoff Jamal all season? And this season, I mean, because he's always going to give you the effective two-man game with Jokic, where they were really, they get in the pick and roll. You get some pick and pops from Murray's. You get some rolls for the other players. You get Jokic at the hoop. Sometimes you get Jokic shooting the three-pointer. I mean, I watched them all season run the two-man game when Russ was in Denver last year, and it's really a beautiful thing when it's going. Probably, I'm trying to think. I don't want to be blasphemous, but maybe one of the best two-man duos of all time. But Jokic can't do it alone, so he needs Murray playing like a true superstar co-star. And you look at the game yesterday. I mean, you look at the game yesterday, but you also just look at Murray's numbers for the year.
Uh-huh.
48%, 43 from three, 88 from the line, 25, 7 and 4. I mean, he's really putting it to these boys. And 53 last night, 19 of 28 from the field, only 6 free throws. Only 6 free throws, Sean. That's what we call
Right.
ethical basketball, because he wasn't playing for the foul, he was playing for the hoop. So, Denver's
True.
gonna need some different things. Like, they're gonna need the bench to step up, because I think the bench has been fairly weak this year outside of Tim Hardaway Jr. They're gonna need Aaron Gordon back, you would hope. He's been gone for a long time. I don't know what the prognosis is on him. They're gonna need a lot of things, but a lot of it will come together. Just if Jokic is gelling and Murray's gelling and they're running that two-man together, you can win a lot of games. You can even win playoff games with that. So that, they're going to need some luck on some other stuff, but you love to see Jamal Murray playing like this, especially this time of the year.
Right, right. Yeah, and the thing that jumps out is that it wasn't just a heat check hero ball, right? The Nuggets had 140 plus offensive rating with him on the floor. The ball was popping, and those 9 threes were mostly in rhythm, not just close your eyes and praise shots, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
he can keep the pull up three at that level, it bends the whole defense and lets Jokic operate against single coverage, way more often.
Which is so important because, a lot of the times when I was watching them last year when Russ was on the team, there's so many times where they just blitz Jokic to get the ball out of his hands. But if Jamal Murray's giving you 19 and 28, then you can't blitz Jokic because at some point the ball's going to swing and at some point it's going to get to Murray and at some point he's going to have an open lane or he's going to have an open shot. So Jokic is one of the best passers in the game. So you have Murray just playing completely just red hot. Jokic has eyes in the back of his head. I don't know if you saw that around the back assist he got to Bruce Brown last night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was one of the sickest dimes ever. But he's going to do that for you. And so if you're going to blitz him and you got Murray playing all-star, all-NBA level, then I mean, it's scary. But I mean, they have a lot of holes they need to fill, especially with Aaron Gordon being out, with the bench being what it is. But that two-man duo on its own generally is enough maybe to get you to the finals. This year, I don't think that's the case, but you love to see Jamal Murray playing this way.
And look, Matthew and me, and I've talked to you about this before. Right now, like you said, Aaron Gordon is out injured, right? I don't know what it is, right? So we often talk about Jamal Murray and Jokic, right? But man, I just feel like Aaron Gordon is that missing extra glue piece. It's not that he's doing anything spectacular, but he's playing pretty good defense. He'll give you just enough decent numbers to help you get over that hump and win these games that are pretty tight. I'm really big on Aaron Gordon. I love him as a basketball player.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that completely. In some ways, having watched them all last year, he's like the soul of the team. I know that's a cliche, but, he gives those guys energy. He plays good defense. Generally he can guard 1 through 5 on the defensive end. He's made some just incredible plays. He had the game winner last year where they bricked the 3 in the playoffs, and then he was just right there to put the ball right back in the hoop. So, he has some great moments with the Nuggets. He's got a chip with the Nuggets. And the thing is, I mean, it's interesting. He could have been on Orlando and been the best player on a bad team. Instead, he said, like, I'm going to know my role. I'm going to find my role. I'm going to find a team that respects me, but I'm going to find a team that I can play within a role and kill it in the system. And, he's the third best player on Denver. But, the last couple of years, he's probably been the third best player in the league. And it's produced a championship. Right. And it's produced a bunch of moments. I mean, they call him Mr. Nugget in Denver because he's like the guy, he's like the soul of that team.
Yeah.
He's the engine that makes it go. So I think a lot of their uneven play you can attribute to the lack of time he spent on the court with the guys this year. There's other things that the bench is really not that good, but I mean, they would love to have Aaron Gordon back, but for now they're just going to have to settle for Jamal Murray 50 balls.
It's funny, when you said the bench isn't that good, right? You made me think about the other night when I was watching Charles Barkley, Shaq, and all them, right? And they were talking about, the expansion they're talking about, right? The 32 teams in Washington and Vegas, right?
Seattle and Vegas.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, Washington. Yeah, Seattle.
Oh, well, yeah, right. Yeah, okay, I'm tripping. Okay,
Washington State, but Seattle. Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
But it's funny that Charles Barkley was talking about. He said, man, do you even have enough good NBA players to fill 32 teams? You already got a lot of bench players that nobody even knows. Now, where you going to get the extra 30 players, for these other 2 teams? Like, there ain't going to be no all-stars. And I'm like, man, one thing about Chuck, he ain't going to hold his tongue, man.
Man, I love Chuck. I think Inside the NBA is one of the, best sports shows of all time. But he's kind of a hater, man. And I get how, like, these players get tired of it, that all of, like, the basketball commentators seem to hate basketball, where, it's the only sport. All the people that commentate on football love football. All the people that commentate on boxing love boxing. But basketball commentators, especially the former players, are so negative. Yeah, you can feel equality. You could feel 2 quality teams in Seattle and Vegas. I mean, you worry about some of the people on small market teams leaving their team to go to like a bigger market like Seattle or Vegas. But yeah, you could definitely fill two more quality teams. There's plenty of talent out there. There's guys that are so good that can't even get in the league because, what the 3 ball's done, how the game has changed, how, maybe if you're like a DeMar DeRozan these days, Like, but you're just starting out. It's harder to break into the league. I mean, we got Mac McClung in the G League, the all-time leading G League scorer, averaging like 30 points a game this year. Can't even get into the league because they don't think his skill set meshes with the league. But yeah, I mean, you could fill 2 more teams with some quality people. There's a lot of good guys in the league that there's a lot of good guys on the sidelines that aren't in the league anymore. You think of McClung, you think of the one I always think of, and I know I'm getting off topic a little bit. The one I always think of is Dennis Smith Jr., who's just somebody who had the craziest athleticism coming out of college, who I think would have been a star if he had been in the league 20 years ago. And now we can't even find a roster spot for him. I hate it, but to answer your initial question, yeah, I think we could fill 2 more teams of quality players. We could probably fill 5 more teams of quality players.
All right, there you have it. All right, so Matthew, moving on to topic number 2, since we're already talking about Denver. In that same game, Jokic went 23 points, 21 rebounds, and 19 assists.
Damn.
And just 1 assist shy of 20-20-20, right? And he became the first center in NBA history to reach 6,000 career assists. He's up to 28 triple-doubles this season, 15 more than the next closest player. Matthew, is Jokic still the most unique player the league has ever seen?
Yeah. I mean, that's the short answer. The short answer is yes. And it's we're talking about his 6,000 assists. It's just that to have a guy, a big man that can play big, but can make his shots. Okay, so you have that in the league. You have guys that can play big and still make their shots. So there's guys that do that. You throw in the rebounding, and you're like, okay, well, there's big guys that make their shots, rebound, and can play big. Then you throw in that he averages like 60% from the field. Then you throw in that he averages like 40% from 3 a lot of years. But then the thing that really sets it apart is not his defense. It's certainly not his defense. It's his passing. It's his playmaking. It's the eyes in the back of his head. It's the around the back passes where he wasn't paying attention. It's the one where he's throwing it behind his head. It's I think about Russ playing on the Nuggets last year and just how many easy cuts to the basket Russ got because he knew the ball would be right there waiting for him. And now you see it with Bruce Brown. You see it with Christian Brown. You see guys shooting open 3-pointers. You see when they blitz him, he makes the right pass and he's either getting the assist or the hockey assist. We've never seen that kind of skill set on a big. I mean, there's been, maybe there were guys like Wes Unseld could rebound like him. And, maybe Bill Russell was unselfish like him. And, maybe whoever like prime Arvydas Sabonis could clog the lane like him and shoot the mid-range like him. And I can't even think of maybe Cat can shoot the 3 like him a little better, but he's got a little bit of all of it. He's got a little bit of all of these guys, and he's got, like the European flavor to it. It's never been seen before. And, he don't back down. So these guys foul him hard. He gets right back up. Like, you remember when Markieff fouled him hard and he got right back and pushed him out of the league. And he's got the attitude. He's got the chip. He's got the style. He's got the eyes in the back of his head, the game, the shot. I mean, he does everything except for play defense. He doesn't play good defense. I mean, I watched him all last year. He's not, if it's post defense, he's fine, I guess. But you put him in the pick and roll, he kind of gets lost out there. He's certainly not Rudy Gobert. He's certainly not Wemby. But in terms of offense, he's the most unique offensive player. Probably, I was born in 93, probably started watching basketball as a kid in the late 90s, but started really paying attention as I got older, obviously. He's the most unique player I've ever seen with my own eyes.
And Matthew, Joker out here like dropping YMCA like cardio numbers with Hall of Fame court vision. The man looks winded and still has 19 assists.
Still has 19 assists. And you look at it, more assists than any other center in league history. Is that what I'm told?
Yep.
Okay, so 6,000 assists, number 43 all-time on the all-time assist list. And by the time his career said and done, he's going to be in the top 10. To have a center that's like on pace to be in top 10 in assists, I mean, you look at the guys he's ahead of, Dwayne Wade, John Wall, Larry Bird, Sam Cassell. Some of these are passers, some of them not as much. Iverson, Jordan, those are scorers. Billups,
Yeah,
Dennis Johnson.
because listen, anytime you pass up point guards and shooting guards, and you're a center, bruh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I mean, he's already passed a lot of great point guards, and he's passed every single center, every single power forward. I think the last big man he needed to pass was Kareem, and so he's the best passer for his position, but one of the most creative passers of all time. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and he don't be coughing the rock up. It's not like he's not like my guy Westbrook or like Harden or guys like that are giving you a lot of assists, but they're coughing it
right.
up a little because they're risky passes. He's making a lot of
Hmm.
smart passes,
Yeah.
and he's got a beautiful assist to turnover ratio.
And Matthew, the wild part is the efficiency, right? Because you're like walking into these 20, 15, 15 type nights. And like you said, like on 60% from the field, and the ball just never sticks to him, right? And you look at the on off numbers. So
Mm-hmm.
Denver basically turns into like a lottery team the second he sits. And that's where the MVP level uniqueness really shows up.
And that's where you want Jamal stepping up, and that's where you want to be staggering those
Yes.
guys' minutes. And it'll be easier when Gordon's back because you could play more as a cohesive unit where you either have your
Hmm.
first and third best player out there or you have your second and third best player out there.
You're right.
But you need Jamal to be great in the non-Jokic minutes, and it'll probably help if Jamal and Gordon can play together. Maybe, like Gordon's like a small ball five in some of the non-Jokic lineups just to salvage, just to stop the bleeding a little. It's not that you don't need to win those minutes, but you can't lose them by that much.
Right, right. Yep. All right, Matthew, moving on to topic number 3. Boston rallied to beat OKC 119 to 109 last night as Jalen Brown dropped 14 of his 31 in pivotal third quarter. And your boy SGA had 33, but it wasn't enough. And this was with Jalen Williams back in the lineup, which we talked about the other night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, does this loss change anything for OKC? Or is this just Boston reminding everyone that they're still dangerous?
Man, Boston is reminding people. Although I wonder because, Jalen Brown had such a good game last night. Tatum was all right, but really, a little bit passive, looking to do other things, looking to crash the
Mm-hmm.
glass and all of that.
Uh-huh.
You wonder how long it's going to last with Brown as the lead dog. You wonder what Tatum's thinking, but it's
I
a good
told you.
problem to have. Hey, it's a good problem to have though, because you're beating the Thunder, and right here we're just speculating for the sake of speculating. Like it's a good problem to have. You got two great players out there. You just beat the best team in the league. Now, if you're OKC, you've got an easy game against the Bulls. Your next game, you need to win that one. You need to beat the Bulls because my San Antonio Spurs are coming in hot. The Spurs won last night. OKC lost. So now, with 9 games to go, OKC is
Mm-hmm.
only up 2 games. So, and if it's a tiebreaker, the Spurs are 4-1 against OKC for the regular season. So if it's a tiebreaker, then the Spurs will be the 1 seed. So
Yeah.
if you're OKC, you need to win the games you're supposed to win. So you need to beat the
Yeah.
Bulls, but
Mm-hmm.
you worry. Jalen Williams was out there 23 minutes, but you could have fooled me because I probably watched a quarter or two of that game. I don't remember him being in the game 5 minutes because it was like he was absent. I mean, I don't know that he scored 5 points. I mean, when I was watching, I don't know that he scored any, and it was you wonder like, okay, so he's
But
coming.
to be fair, Matthew, is it Russ getting back into the game, finding his groove, or
Sure, no, sure. I buy all that. I don't think he's a bad player. I buy that it's rust. I buy that it's injury, but you worry this
yeah,
time of year. Like this time of year is not where you want to be shaking off the rust. This time of year, you want to be playing like the Spurs, where I was watching the Spurs last night, and this is looking like a well-oiled machine. Pass, pass,
yes,
pass, wide open three, pass, 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 wide open drive. Now OKC looks like that a lot of nights, but a lot of it is based off SGA. A lot of it is based off SGA and what he's doing, where the Spurs, Wemby is not as ball dominant and his offensive game isn't as developed, obviously, as SGA's. So the Spurs, almost by necessity, are more of a democracy with how they move the ball. And they're looking like a well-oiled machine. And if you're OKC, you really need to lock down and win If you're up 2 games, that means you need to win 8 of your next 9 to control your destiny. So if you're OKC, to control your destiny, you want to go 8-1 over these next 9 games, which
Mm-hmm.
seems like a tall order. But for a team that's already almost at 60 wins, they got a good shot at doing it. But you do worry about Jalen Williams and how rusty, how passive he looked. You hope he can shake that off in time for the playoffs.
Right. And listen, Matthew, for OKC, the bigger signal is how their offense looks when the threes isn't falling. They lean so much on SGA's like paint touches that when Boston walls that off, you see stretches where the Thunder look really young again. But for Boston, this is the blueprint. Defend, win the third quarter, and let one of the Jays drag you home with shot making.
With the Thunder, that's right. Where SGA is having to take over, and ideally, you would like the ball to be moving around. You'd like to be getting open shots. You'd like to be getting rim runs for Chet at the cup, but it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of devolving into SGA ISO, and
Mm-hmm.
when it's okay when that's like every 5th or 6th play, but when that's every 2nd or every 3rd play, then you start to worry about they're getting away from the formula. There was obviously a lot of ISO for SGA when
Mm-hmm.
they won the championship. There was a certain amount of plays there, but I felt like the ball was moving around more,
Yeah.
especially when they were playing the Pacers in the finals. And you just this isn't the time of the year where you want anyone playing hero ball. Like even if
Right.
it's like your best player, and that's which I think SGA is smart enough to avoid that. You're never going to see SGA take 30 shots in a game, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to be the downfall for your guys on the West Coast, the Lakers, and how
Yeah.
they're letting Luka play lately. But it's just like small trimmings on the side for OKC. It's just little things where you could shape up here and there, but I would like to see a few less ISOs for SGA if you can get it, and maybe a couple more ISOs for J Will
Yeah.
or no, I guess J Will's the other one. He's J Dub. A couple more ISOs for J Dub to see if he could shake off some of the rust, and
Right.
just some better movement of the basketball all around because the Spurs are looking a little better than OKC as of the last week or so.
Right. And listen, let me give y'all a little gem also on top of that, Matthew. So Jalen Brown loves chess and he literally hosted workshops for Boston high school students about how chess thinking can help their real lives. It fits with his whole vibe as a thoughtful, activist type guy who's into brains and community work as he is into buckets, right? Because I was reading something, I don't know if it was during an interview, was it Good Morning America? Somebody interviewed him. Like the dude is smart as a whip. Like he actually has a scholarship to go to MIT and all that.
Yeah, we know he's smart and he was at Cal Berkeley, which is like a smart people school. Like we know
Hmm.
he's in the community and all that and he cares about these issues maybe more than other athletes. But what I like the most about him this year is it feels like, and I don't know if this is cuz he's been the star player this year, it feels like there's a chip off his shoulder. It feels like he's laid back. It's like I feel like I see him smiling during games. I see him smiling in interviews. His first few years in the league, I don't know. It just he just always seemed like a little upset, like a hard dude to get to know. A dude like you'd invite out for beers, and he would come up with some excuse and he wouldn't want to hang out, but then you'd see him there anyway, drinking by himself. And this year, it just feels like there's a load off him, and it's making his game flow easier. Like
Or Matthew, was he like that because he felt like he was second fiddle to Jason Tatum, and now that he got injured at the start, it was his team, his run, and that's why he's smiling and stuff now.
maybe. I mean, I don't want to just rampantly speculate like that. That certainly could be the number one reason, but it's certainly noticeable. I mean, they would ask him questions like in the post game conference like last year, and he just seemed like he was in such a bad mood. Like they asked him, "Oh, did you notice the queen at the game when the not the queen, Prince William and the princess, they were at the game." And
Hmm.
they ask him, "Oh, do you see the prince and the princess?" And he just mumbles how he doesn't know who they are. and all of that. And it's like, oh, come on, tough guy. Sometimes sometimes you could just be cool. And that's what I noticed like every game this game. It just looks like he's really enjoying himself out there. And even like the little things, the little tidbits like that I've seen of his post-game interviews, like when he was getting his hairspray on people at the beginning of the season and he was telling them he was leaving greatness on them. It just seems like he's enjoying himself a little more. And I think, it's like life is good and your game is good too. Like they go hand in hand.
And Matthew, it doesn't help when you're making 30, 40 million a year either.
Man, I could take 10% of that and I would be king for a day. I'd be king for a year.
Yeah. All right, Matthew, we're going to move on to topic number 4. So, CJ McCollum hit the tie-breaking 3-point play in overtime as the Hawks beat Detroit 130-129 last night. Atlanta is now 41-32 and 9-1 in their last 10, with Jalen Johnson going for 27, 8, and 12 assists. So, Matthew, right now, are the Hawks one of the most dangerous type teams nobody's really talking about in the East right now?
No.
In the East.
No. I mean, it's good. They're fun.
Right. It's like they had the chemistry now that they made these moves.
Hey, it's a good story. It's fun. But there's always a team like this. And the team like this has a ceiling. So, at best, they get in the playoffs. And they're getting some help, too. Because, the Raptors, the 76ers, the Magic all looked like really good teams at the beginning of the year. And, the Raptors haven't fallen off a cliff, but have been kind of mediocre. The 76ers have just got killed with injuries and suspensions. And the Magic, I guess we're going to talk about the Magic. I don't even know what's going on with them. It's just, I don't know if it's bad coaching or what's going on, but they're collapsing over there. So yeah, the Hawks are hot, but their part of the conference, that middle part of the Eastern Conference, is also kind of falling apart right at the same time they've been on their run. And bro, when you get to play Eastern Conference teams 4 times a game, 4 times a year, maybe I'm hating, but it's just an easier roster. Oh, look, man, you're over on the West Coast. You just got to play killers every night. You're on the West Coast. You got the Thunder. You got the Spurs. You got the Lakers. You got the Nuggets. You got the Timberwolves. You got the Rockets. And even the bad teams are the Clippers and the Warriors. You got to play straight dogs every night in the Western Conference 4 times. Whoever the 8 best teams in the Western Conference, you multiply it by 4. If you're in that conference, you're playing 32 games against straight killers. But if you're in the Eastern Conference, man, you're in Candyland. You're just in a Candy Mountain beanbag palace of softies out there. And so it's impressive, but it's impressive to a limit because look.
Hey, boy, that comment section is gonna come after you, and
Hey,
don't you
man,
ever go to Atlanta Airport.
So some of their wins in this stretch, okay, well, they beat the Bucks a couple times, they beat the Wizards a couple times. When you look at the loss in the stretch, it's to the Rockets. They beat the Grizzlies. They beat the Warriors. So those are Western Conference teams, but near the bottom half of the West. They beat the Mavericks. So, they've had a lot of teams in this run where it's they were positioned very nicely to beat some bad teams. Not to say it's not coming together because, Jalen Johnson's a walking triple-double. Dyson Daniels, one of the worst shooters of all time, but one of the best defenders of all time. So it's okay, you get that, but you don't like that because his defense is so good that you're going to have to play him in the playoffs, but then he's going to miss a bunch of 3-pointers for you, and they're going to leave him open, and you're going to have 10 wasted possessions of him missing 3-pointers. CJ McCollum is going to average. Who's a veteran, but I guarantee it's the kind of veteran that it's oh, what's he averaging? He's averaging 19. Okay, in the playoffs, he's going to average 14, or he's going to average 13. He's going to have a little drop. You're going to have Dyson Daniels missing shots. Okongwu, your stretch 5, big center. Let's see how he does in the playoffs. You got a lot of guys. You got a guy like McCollum that, in the playoffs, it's been a shaky experience.
Well, let's look at it this way, Matthew. When you dig into it, their late game offense has leveled up. They're getting multiple creators into action instead of just spamming high pick and rolls And you can see it in like clutch offense rating over like this 10-game stretch. And if Jalen Johnson is going to be like a real 6'10" playmaker and CJ is giving him veteran closer vibes, that's a nasty playoff matchup for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, for your first round team, like, yeah, they could definitely maybe beat the Cavs, get out of the first round, but I think there's a lot of weaknesses or potential weaknesses, and they can make it out of the first round. Like, it's a good story. Like, they've been winning when they weren't winning. Then they traded their best player, and somehow they're still winning. And then, like, Quinn
Talking
Snyder.
about Trey,
Yeah, I mean, he was their best.
Ice Trey.
I mean, he was either their best player, he was their biggest superstar, like whatever you want to call it. He was like their
Yeah.
big superstar. They got rid of him. And then they're better now. So I mean, the GM takes a gamble, and the gamble pays off. They're a lot better. But are they a championship team? No. Are they a good story? Yes. Is it like nice to see Quinn Snyder, prove himself once again, how good of a coach he is? Like, yeah, that's fine. That's nice. Feel good story, all of that. But like, we know what their ceiling is, and their ceiling is the second round of the playoffs. But given where this year started, I mean, that's nice. That's a lot to build on if you're making the second round of the playoffs. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
the fans are going to be into it. You're going to be selling out in Atlanta every night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so, I mean, that's
and
big.
they want to go to Magic City.
Yeah.
Who's that player that
Don't
could
invite
Magic City?
Don't invite Luke Cornett, man.
Yeah, Luke Cornett. That's who it was.
Don't invite Luke. But yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. Like, I see some like fun playoff nights in Atlanta ahead, but I don't see more than 14 of them. I don't see more than 2 series. So
Okay.
We'll
Fair
see.
enough.
We'll see.
All right. So Matthew, switching over to topic number 5. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the team I don't even think we've even talked about yet since we started January 1st. The Magic. They went from a 7-game win streak to a 6-game losing streak. And it's not for the lack of effort on Paolo Banchero, right? He's dropped 39 and 36 in back-to-back losses. And Orlando is still in the play-in picture at 38 wins, 34 losses, but sliding fast with teams like Philly and Charlotte breathing down their neck. So, Matthew, what's wrong with this Magic team right now? What are they missing?
Shooting. It's shooting. They've got defense. Like, they've got like really tough perimeter defenders. They got Desmond Bane. Paolo is a good defender for his position. They've got distributors. They've got playmakers. They don't have star power. We know that. Like, Paolo is their biggest star, and it seems like he's kind of been forgotten about a little bit. But here's the thing: Paolo shooting 31.7 from 3. Wendell, you like your stretch 5 center, shooting 32% from 3. Jalen Suggs shooting 32.5% from 3. These are all guys like, Jalen gets 27 minutes, Wendell gets 30 minutes, Paolo gets 35 minutes. Of course, Franz Wagner, who's going to be your only guy who's like volume shooting 3-pointers and making them. He basically, when I read his injury report, it tells me that he's out for the season because it says no timetable for his return, and there's 9 games left. So, I mean, losing him was obviously going to hurt the team because the team just has no margin for error because they have no shooting. So they can play all the good defense they want. They could play unselfishly because that's the other thing. Like, the couple times I've watched the Magic this year when they've played the Spurs, when they played the Kings, there's a lot of the ball's moving. There's a lot of passing. I mean, sometimes Paolo gets in those ISOs where he's just dribble, but like they're moving the ball over. But there's not necessarily a lead dog on that team. And I know that's like a niche complaint, but like sometimes like you want a guy, and in theory it'd be Paolo, but his weakness from 3 makes it hard. And if Franz Wagner was there, it might be him. But they don't really have a guy that like is going to dominate the game when the game needs to be won. Like they're kind of doing it by committee. It's like, okay, we'll give it to Desmond Bain or give it to Paolo or give it to Anthony Black. Like, all guys who are like making some shots this year, but aren't nobody. It should be Paolo, but it's his shooting. Where you watch games of him and you're like, man, this guy's like 6 for 22. Like, how is this guy averaging like 23 points a game? It's just the shooting. Like, I feel like they're doing things right. Like I feel like they're playing defense. I feel like they're passing the ball. But it's a make or miss league, and they're just not making shots, man.
And matter of fact, Matthew, why did Desmond Bain look like a superstar when he played along with John Morant? And without being in Memphis, now it just seemed like he just turned into like a G League bench player. Like I don't understand why.
No, he's still having a good year.
I
Like
mean, it just don't
he's
seem the same without John Morant.
no, I mean, he was just very good in his role on the Memphis. Like Memphis had like three players, Morant, Brooks, and Bain, that were like, all playing very good in their roles. And Morant was the star. I mean, Bain was certainly not the star. And he's probably averaging more right now with the Magic and getting more opportunity with the Magic. It's just he's not a number one guy, certainly. And I don't really think maybe for a great team, he's a number two guy. Ideally, he's probably in that Aaron Gordon role, that heart and soul of the team, but number three best player on the team, that Aaron Gordon or maybe prime Draymond role. I just don't know that he's the second best player on like a real contending basketball team. But no, I'm trying to pull up the numbers for him because every time I watch him play, he passes the eye test. Yeah. I mean, he's shooting 49% from the field, 39 from three, 92 from the line, averaging 20 points a game. Like, I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything, but your lead dog is supposed to be Banchero, and Banchero like misses a lot of important shots and a lot of like big moments. And like, he's getting to the point with this.
It's funny that you said that, Matthew. Because I was about to say you can feel how cramped their half court gets, right? They're like bottom tier in 3-point volume and accuracy. So every Paolo drive is basically into like a phone booth with like three defenders. So defensively, they're still kind of solid, right? But when your offensive rating craters like in clutch time, all those we play hard morale victories start turning to L's in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, like Banchero's getting to the point with this 3-pointer where it's like where the crowd's like kind of groaning, like they don't want to see him take it because he's just like not making that 3-pointer. And so if you're gonna shoot 4 or 5 of them a game, you got to be shooting like 31.7. You can't be shooting 31.7. I think the number, if you're gonna be a volume 3-point shooter, the number's got to be at least 35%. Yeah. And he's nowhere close to that. So when they're chucking up and missing so many 3-pointers, it just there's no spacing for the drive. There's no spacing for the bigs down low. And it's all just kind of falling apart at the wrong time. There's a lot of talent on the team. Of course, they got hit with the injury bug with Wagner. I think that's actually the thing. Like Wagner's played 28 games. If he had played 60 games, they'd probably be 10 games above where they are right now, because that just gives you a legit 3-point shooter that the defense has to respect. And then that's going to give Banchero lanes. Then, not only is it going to give him lanes like to drive, but maybe it'll give him a few open shots to where he can start getting some confidence in his jumper again. So, I think they've choked it away this year. They're down to the 10 seed. Like I feel like the last time I had looked like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were the 6 seed. And now they're down to the 10 seed. So you wonder what they can do this year, having fallen that far. But, I think with the core and with Anthony Black, possibly being the starting point guard next year, then you throw in Banchero, then you throw in Wagner. I still think there's potential with that team. I think that team has a lot of potential, but, maybe this year it's looking like this year is not the year down in Orlando.
Right. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to our last topic number 6. And then after that, for all y'all out there, we're going to get into the comment section. But Matthew, we can't stop talking about how hot this team is. The Charlotte drained 26 threes in a 134-90 demolition of Sacramento. You're a team with Russell Westbrook on Tuesday, tying a franchise record. And then rookie Kneppel now has 247 threes this season and needs just 14 more to pass Kemba Walker for the all-time single-season Hornets record. Now, Matthew, is Kneppel making the strongest case for Rookie of the Year down the stretch?
Fake news, fake news. You said 14, but they just beat the Knicks tonight, and he made 6 3-pointers, so he only needs 8. So think about that. This is fresh off the presses. They just beat the Knicks, who the Knicks are supposed to be one of them dogs in the Eastern Conference. And that's another thing I'm talking about with the Eastern Conference, man. You got like a team like the Knicks that are supposed to be like, you know, one of the best teams, and on any given night they could get dog walked by the Hornets. You know, you don't see the Spurs and Thunder dropping random games like that. Although now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this I think the Spurs beat the Hornets the other day, but correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, I digress. My point is this. They just put belt ass on the Knicks. Your boy, Kneppel, 9 for 14 from the field, 6 of 10 from 3, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. He's got to be Rookie of the Year. I don't know if that was the prompt, but he's got to be Rookie of the Year because his team is contending. Like, his team is legit. Like, when he got there, his team was one of the worst teams in the league. And you could say they have weapons.
Oh, yeah.
You could say they have LaMelo. You could say they have Bridges. You could say they have Brandon Miller. They had all them guys last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they were good players on a bad team.
So who's the denominator that made the difference?
I think it's him. I think it's Kneppel because he's opened up the floor for all of them because the way he's draining threes at a historic rate. They say he's going to – you just said it right there. And then you said 14, and I told you the real number is 8. But that's the point. That's the point. Franchise all-time three-pointers in his first season. Charlotte's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Charlotte was in there in the 90s in the playoffs playing MJ. I mean, Charlotte is not some, you know, Johnny come lately team. You know, Charlotte's been there. Yeah. And they've had three-point shooters over the years. You know, they had Kemba Walker. They had Baron Davis, who was more of a streaky shooter than like a knockdown. But I digress. You know, they've had different guys. They've had different guys over the years. They had Del Curry. Yeah. You talk about the original splasher, Del Curry. So they've had guys over the years that make the three ball. And this guy in his first year, unless he gets a season-ending injury tomorrow, he's almost certainly going to beat the three-point record, and he's going to beat it by a lot. And he's on a team that's now, what's their seeding now? Let's see. I try to pull it up. Oops. I'm getting stuck. Okay, after tomorrow, they will likely be the 8th seed. This isn't updated, but okay. So they're 39 and 34. I believe they're the 8th seed, but they started off the season, you know, like how many games under 500? A lot. Right. You know, at one point they were 13 and 25. And even as recently as the end of January, they were 16 and 28.
Isn't that crazy?
They were 16 and 28.
How about 2 months ago?
Now they're 39 and 34.
That is just crazy.
And they've rode this guy to it. They've ridden this guy to it. The way he makes the game easier for everybody else. When Kneppel, you just know wherever you get a 10 from the three-point line, he's going to drain it. That gives LaMelo room to do whatever the hell LaMelo's doing.
Does
that
one
gives,
shot, twist shots.
Yeah, that gives LaMelo to jump around, Euro step, jump off 1 foot, throw it behind his head. That gives him room to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
It gives Brandon Miller room to, you know, because Brandon Miller can get his shot or he can get his drive. But
dunk it.
But them guys, LaMelo, Brandon, Miles, they're not seeing double coverage at all this year. And I'm not saying those guys would always see double coverage besides LaMelo, but at different points when they're hot, they would. But you can't send doubles to any of those guys when you got an absolute fucking flamethrower like Kneppel from 3. And here's where you can really see it.
And don't forget about LaMelo dropping threes too. They got a double threat that every team got to worry about. Not that LaMelo is as good as Kneppel, but you still got to worry about him dropping a 3.
I mean, he's better than him, and LaMelo is better than Kneppel in some ways. In terms of like all around talent, you still think I still think LaMelo's up there, but in terms of like being like a knockdown flamethrower 3-point shooter, Kneppel is so far past LaMelo and all them other guys because LaMelo's gonna make some, but he's gonna take some dumb ones where Knipple really nothing he's taking is a bad shot. I still think LaMelo is probably an overall better player, although with like limitations, because LaMelo's playing street ball out there. LaMelo's just doing whatever the hell he wants,
Yeah.
which is so much fun to watch, such a joy to watch. But I think it puts a ceiling on where his game can go. But when you got it doesn't even matter when you got a flamethrower like Knipple out there. And here's my last point on this, because I can talk about how the other three guys are getting their points. But when you really look at Charlotte's roster and you look, and this passes the eye test because I saw them play the Spurs recently. But when you look at their roster and you look at what their big men are averaging, their big men, the Moose is shooting, Moussa Diabate is shooting 63% from the field, and their backup center, Kalkbrenner, is shooting 75% from the field.
Wow.
And you know why? Because this team is so spaced out where you got killers from three led by Knipple to where the big men, when they're getting it, they're just getting free dunks at the rim.
Because everybody's out there on. Matter of fact, so I was going to say that, right? So when a rookie is taking that many threes and still holding efficiency, that's like real scalability. And you can drop that skill on any contender and it's just going to work instantly, right? So the gravity is real too. So the defenders are like top locking him already, which opens up all that drive and kick game for everybody else in Charlotte.
What you said there about the gravity is so real because all three of them guys, Knipple, Miller, and LaMelo, are all volume shooters from three. So Knipple shooting 8, Miller shooting 8, LaMelo shooting 10. You might need to scale that back a little, but LaMelo shooting 37, Miller shooting 39, Knipple shooting 44. That gravity is crazy. Where Kalkbrenner and Moose are just getting dunks because there's nobody there. Everybody's 30 feet away from the basket. Make no mistake, that is not a coincidence that their center rotation is shooting the best percentages in the league. That's what spacing will do for your team.
Yep. There you have it. All right, Matthew, that was it for our 6 topics for the night. And before we close out, fans, y'all know what we're going to. Go into your comments to see how y'all bash Matthew once again, and he's going to have to come knock on your door and come see you. All right, let's go ahead and share what we got, Matthew. Share the screen.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go right here. Let's see what we got. All right. So we're going to our YouTube comment section. Here is where we talk about the Hawks' balanced attack is what makes them dangerous. Southern Cal at the 540 Charlotte, Toronto, Miami had been tough for us for various reasons. Yeah, we just talked about Charlotte. I don't know. Do you really think Toronto, Miami is tough for the Hawks right now? Definitely Charlotte. What do you think, Matthew?
I mean, I think we talked about this comment last time.
Oh, did we? We hit this one? Did we talk about Dyson have offensive game? He can facilitate and has a solid double. Okay.
The first one we haven't talked about.
What about his? Kate is done. Whoever gets the Pistons in the first round has a chance to make it out.
The one we haven't talked about is Jackson, starting with Jackie Odom 2 days ago.
All right. Once again, the Hawks. Jackie Odom. They're a horrible team, bro. But stop pretending that this isn't all set up. When you get to the last 20 games, just like the first 20 games, there are certain teams that are built to cave and not be good. And then certain teams with the schedule and youth where their developing guys are built to make it fun a little bit on a run. They're not a very good team at all. They're really not a good team at all. He said that twice. They are absolutely horrible. I don't care how many games they run recently. They have absolutely no chance to win more than one game in the playoffs. And that's a gift. What a joke. Ooh, what are your thoughts on that?
Coming in hot, Jackie. Coming in real hot. No, I mean, they're good enough. I mean, his comments the exact opposite of what we're about to read from Sweetness the Butter 9985. I mean, so it's just
before that, look what Teddy Bear LaFleur. I like that name. Teddy Bear LaFleur. Look what he responded to Jackie. He said, Atlanta's in 6th place, sir.
I think he responded that to us.
Oh, was he? Thought he responded to Jackie Odom.
But the point is, I mean, you could look at these 4 comments and see that different people are going to come to different opinions. So Jackie's saying they're horrible, But Sweetness the Butter is saying we haven't watched the games because they're so much better than we think they are, and Dyson isn't actually a liability. But here's the thing: we got jobs and stuff. Do we watch every game? No. But what I would, because I just try to keep it a buck because it like annoys me when I see like ESPN commentators that don't watch the games clearly. I watch every Kings game and every Spurs game. And so
Yeah.
watching those two teams, I generally see every other team about 5 or 6 times a year. So I'm not saying my opinion's the most fleshed out, like somebody that gets paid to talk about basketball for a living, but I see these teams at least 5 or 6 times a year, and I would say that's enough to form an opinion on it. But I don't need to watch the Hawks 5 or 6 times a year to know that Dyson Daniels can't shoot. So whatever Sweetness the Butter says, the stats say something different. The stats say 14%, and the teams are leaving him alone when he's shooting, and that's going to come back to bite you in the playoffs. So Sweetness the Butter might not like it, but the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, look what the one above him was it. Adalite fans. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. He said Dyson has more offense than an average non-shooter. Leave him alone and he'll cut to the basket on you real quick for easy points.
Bro, they're NBA players. They can all cut to the basket for easy points. Like, and in the playoffs, that you get that less and less. Like, yeah, I mean, that sounds great in the regular season when you're playing the Blazers or the Wizards or the Little Sisters of the Poor. Like, that's fine. But in the playoffs, those cut to the basket layups, they become few and far between, as you know.
Yeah. Look at McStoke Avison. When we talk about Luka's 40-point run, you must have forgot Kobe scored 49 straight games, huh? Or 4 straight games of 50 plus.
Forgot. I didn't know he did it in the first place.
All right, let's look at LeBron. We talked about LeBron's just became the oldest player to do this, the 41 at 41. Both Kareem and Karl Malone scored 20 points several times at the age of 40. Both actually did it for the Lakers. The mailman one game even had 19 rebounds and 15 points. I think LeBron is amazing, but I believe we are overhyping his accomplishments as he's the only human to have done this past 40. Don't get me wrong, it's still impressive.
I mean, I'm not even the biggest LeBron fan, but I don't even think that's true. I remember Karl Malone that last year with the Lakers, his 40-year-old year. I mean, he was limping maybe he missed like half that season, but he was limping to get to 10 points. I mean, he was not – if he got – like LeBron basically, if he's healthy, is going to give you 20 every night still. Karl Malone in his age 40 season was not giving you 20 a night. Kareem in his age 40 season was giving you let's look it up. I don't want to be wrong, but I know it's not them. Kareem in his age 40 season was giving you 10 points a game. Like, yeah, like they had nights where they were still Kareem or still Karl or still.
So what you're saying is, what is Anthony Cordero 93 talking about?
Yeah, like it's just LeBron has done it consistently enough. Or I'm not even a huge LeBron fan, but like to compare Karl Malone or Kareem or Robert Parrish, I mean, they were, they weren't running like they used to in their 40s. And Vince Carter, they were there. It's impressive to be there in your 40s, but they weren't getting it like LeBron's getting it. Come on, man.
Yeah. Look at this. Nature Made Thunder 88. Keep sleeping on AKC. They haven't even woken up yet. I don't know about you, but I don't think we've slept on KC at all. If anything, we've been giving them their props.
Hey man, Spurs about to wake them up with that belt to ass. That's
so he was talking to you. He was talking to you, then Matthew.
Hey, we're gonna wake him up real quick with that Wemby belt to ass.
Yep, and then Vincent Martinez 53-79. They just lost to Celtics with Jay Williams. Yeah, but y'all got to remember when we make these videos, this is before they actually played this game. And the last one, can the Spurs actually catch the Thunder? TRGFD. The production quality is amazing. I enjoyed every second of it. Well, thank you.
Hey, we like to see a nice comment in the sea of mean comments. TRGFD Wildin'. We love you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. All right, real quick, we're gonna switch over to TikTok here. Let's see what this is talking about. That person just says first. Let's see what they're talking about here. When we talked about who can stop us, Quang Zhu said the refs if they make fair calls. Aaron Alvarado, Spurs and Thunder for years to come. Oh, interesting. Do you think that's a heated battle that's years to come?
I think it's a heated battle full of Spurs victories and Thunder losses. But yeah, I think it's going to be a rivalry, just like all them teams had rivalries with the Bulls in the 90s. But the Bulls always won. That's going to be the Spurs and Thunder.
Yep. And then, of course, Apple agree with you. Spurs will sweep them.
Oh, I'm not calling a sweep. I'm not calling a sweep, but I do think they're going to win that series. And I think they're going to surprise so many people because, look, when there's the upstart young hotshot team, they always got to take their licks in the playoffs, lose a couple. I don't think something tells me the Spurs are a team of destiny, and it's not going to be like them other teams. I think we're going to be able to get in the playoffs, and this team looks good to go, ripping and roaring. I have a hard time seeing anybody beating this team.
Yep. All right. So let me switch to this one right here. We got when we talked about Bronny James, unstoppable force in G League. Somebody said McClung will wipe the floor with him. Wow. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think they're doing different things. Like Bronny is in his best version is going to be a 3-and-D guy where they say McClung can't play defense at all. Now, I don't watch a lot of Windy City Bulls G League games, but I have seen Bronny in garbage time a couple times. You know, I root for the Kings. So when the Lakers play the Kings, usually there's a lot of garbage time when we're getting blown out. And I've seen Bronny. Uh, he's a great point of attack defender. You know, he can switch. You know, he can fight through pick and rolls. I mean, he's very competent on the defensive side. Now, the shooting is getting there. I saw today that he's 40% from three. But obviously, you know, he's still playing very limited minutes. He's not fully there yet. But I think at some point, I know a lot of people think he's just there because LeBron, which is probably true. But I think at some point he's going to develop into a rotation type NBA player with or without LeBron on his team.
Right, right. Okay. And then another person called user with the long number. Yeah, as long as his daddy's in the NBA. You know, there's always going to be people that's going to cry the nepotism role, right?
Mm-hmm. We know that.
And just look what he said about the original Splash Bro. Wrong. As a Charlotte native, Dell earned it all, my guy.
Okay.
I don't remember what the comment was about now, but
well, because I was saying it was a little bit of being Steph's dad, but okay, I respect it. Big Papa knows best. I guess you do.
Yeah. And then somebody talking about Draymond part of the big three. I mean, he is part of the big three when it comes to
Yeah.
the Warriors right now.
Yeah, but you don't want to see no big three featuring Draymond. I'm with you, Mike. Mike 253.
Then we talked about how much. Remember, we talked about when
Mm-hmm.
Popovich, love Tim, how he went 19 years straight with never being late. We here in San Antonio know what a bad Timmy was, the real goat.
And what else do you notice about this video? That I'm wearing the exact same outfit.
All right. Oh, here we go. Talking about the new goat with Conk Nipple. The no defense era, please. So Matthew, are they saying that the only reason why he's doing so good because we're in an era where there's no defense, it's just easy to shoot threes? Even if it was easy to shoot threes, you still got to make it.
I mean, all the other rookies play in the same era, and they're not doing as good as him. I mean, why even say that? Like, why is this? Why even be hating that hard? You know, it's not healthy. What's his name? Simply the goat. Simply the
Mm-hmm.
hater.
Yeah. Then we had another one with Jonathan Kuminga talking about trade for Kuminga. When they did the trade, they said this kid can play. Period, bro. I'm really shocked. I never knew until we did this video how many Kuminga fans there are out there, bro.
He's got a bunch of shooters out there, man. We talk about him, and you know they crawl out of the woodwork. Oh,
Yep.
we going deep into our
All
bag.
right.
This is an
Yeah.
old
Yeah. This.
episode.
Yeah. This one where I edited different. It's only about a month ago. This right before I did all those edits. Right when we
Mm-hmm.
talked about Shaq centers today need to play like me and be dominant.
Man,
Somebody said Ewing, Robinson, Hakeem, Brad, Daughtery, Rick Smith, Kevin Duckworth, Robert Parrish, Tim Duncan, Shaq was the only center without a jumper. Shaq would kill those guys in any era, mainly because he has mass and not his skill. What do you think about that?
Man, he just naming players. He's just showing off his basketball knowledge. Okay, buddy.
All right, Furious Styles 81. Dirk and Shaq is from the 90s, though. And Hakeem is arguably the most talented center of all time. I don't know. You think Hakeem's the most talented
Maybe,
of
but
all
like
time?
this guy's stretching. Like, yeah, Dirk got drafted in the late '90s, but he's considered like a 2000s player. So, like, it's this. He's embellishing a little.
Yeah. Then
Way
you have
more.
somebody, you got somebody calling himself Shaq. Way more skill. Shaq forgets that he himself was a 7'2", 360-pound anomaly. Nobody's even built like that to play like that.
Shaq, is that you? Is that you, Shaq?
All right, these last two, Ice Water 8511. No, they don't. They do their stuff, but they're not good. Jeez.
He's coming
And
in
Enlightened
hating.
One, all it is, wait a minute, all it is, they shoot threes more. Everybody wants to be Curry.
Man,
Listen, we're in a time where, man, these centers, they can make threes now. I mean, if they can make it, go for it. It's not back then where you just get handed a ball, turn, dunk, turn, dunk, turn, dunk. It's evolved so much from Shaq in them days.
man, he calls himself the enlightened one, but looking at how he typed that, he don't seem very enlightened to me.
All right, he's enlightened another way. That's why he types that way. Matthew, once again, man, it's a pleasure being on here with you, man. Our favorite 2 times of the week when we get to talk NBA. Once again, as you see right here, we will read your comments. We will make it part of a video. We will drop it. So make sure y'all keep dropping those comments. Make sure you like, subscribe. Man, keep pushing our content so we can just grow and get bigger. Man, help us get to that 20,000 subscribers. We're like 18 and a half. Help keep putting shit here. Help, like I said, like it, and it makes the algorithm go up so we'll show up more in your feed. Matthew, what do you want to say to the people in closing?
If you leave a comment, make sure you spell things right. Make sure you use grammar. Unlike our buddy Enlightened One, we can't read your comment if we can't understand
All right, there you have it. Once again, we want to thank all the fans for coming out. Appreciate you. Till next time, me and Matthew will be back Wednesday. We out. Peace.